I'm a believer that this team's going to win the national championships.
The rivalries, it's up there on top of the list, man. And if we allow them to devalue it, we lose a lot of what makes college football special. Don't let them do it. Don't let them devalue what it means to you. Anyway, let's start with these recruits that are coming in starting Monday and Wednesday. We got about 20 guys. And some of these guys are the type of guys that are Ohio State would take their commitment immediately. Some of these guys are the type of guys who really, really want that Ohio State offer. So let's start with Monday, the first day of practice. Tomorrow, we've got the only running back coming in this week, running back Faber Aki. Rutherford B. Hayes in Delaware, Ohio. So our local guy, the only running back visiting. And this is a guy who, out of the three running backs who are bigger prospects in the state of Ohio this year, really like him. The most interesting one here, he's got a really unique running style. Now has offers from Miami, USC, Penn State. This is picked up real quick for him. The funny thing is, if he ends up at USC, we had Painesville running back Sean Alston commit to USC. That would be two running backs from the state of Ohio at USC. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, when did USC need to come to Ohio for running backs? It's kind of a thing that they got out there, but pretty funny anyway. But I get the vibes, and I talked to Faber today, that this is a kid who, much like you and me, really would love to be a Buckeye. And that's great. I think he's really, really good. But you're in a situation here, like you're going after the best of the best. And it's very difficult when you are the running backs coach at Ohio State and you're only taking one or two guys max every year. You've got the ability and the opportunity to go get the very best of the best, the freakiest running back in the country. And then you got a guy right down the street. You think, okay, I think this guy can really play at Ohio State. I think he can be good. What do you do? When the margins are so razor thin between that top back for him picking Ohio State or somebody else, if you have the ability to tell him, like, look, you'll be the only back I take this year, that could tip the scales in your favor. So generally, you're going to wait as long as you can before you got to offer that in-state guy, because he might just take it right off, might take that offer, might be like, yes, I'm in. And if he does, you better be ready to take it in most situations. And you don't want to wait too long, or you get a situation like Jordan Marshall, Mr. Football Ohio, a couple years ago out of Moeller, who ended up at Michigan because you made him camp for his offer, didn't offer him till June. And by that time, Michigan had been recruiting him harder. And he was, they were locked in. And he was like, yeah, I'm not cool with that. So it's one of those sticky situations. What does he do? Ultimately, I think Faber gets the offer. I think he gets the offer on Monday. And that will be awesome. Really like this kid. I'm going to play his film here. But we're talking about a kid who, I did not know this until I talked to him, but he's from Cameroon, came to Ohio when he was 2, didn't start playing football till the 9th grade. So the film we're watching here is a guy who has only played football. This is his 3rd year right here. So he came into this year that we're watching with just 2 years of experience on a football field, which means there's a lot more room for growth here. And he already looks incredibly physical. He's got a great feel for the position, really good vision, hits the hole a million miles an hour, describes himself as a downhill runner who gets things done, and emulates his game after Derrick Henry and Jahmyr Gibbs, a mix between the two of them. So I love it, man. I love it. I sure hope he gets an offer this week. That's an Ohio State caliber back right there. Now, Providence High School, the home of David Sanders Jr., if you'll remember that one. We talked a lot about him last year. But a wide receiver, Gordon Sellers, out of Providence High School. This will be the only wide receiver in for the week. And he is another kid out of North Carolina, which is a JUCK honey hole. We talk about it often, pounded by Ohio State recently. And we talk about this sometimes on the show throughout the decades. Ohio State will locate an area around the country that's being under-recruited or the team that usually owns the area is on a downswing, and Ohio State has the opportunity to go in and clean up. And what they've done with North Carolina is attacked North Carolina, a state that has just as much talent as the state of Ohio, which is to say top 7 in the country. And who do they got to compete with in state? Not much. You got North Carolina, NC State, Wake Forest, Duke. These guys got to leave to play big time football. They got Clemson close by. They win a lot of those battles for the NC kids. Tennessee, of course. Georgia wins a lot of them. But Ohio, close enough to Carolina that it's a much easier pull than a kid from Georgia or Florida in a lot of cases. So it makes a lot of sense to set up in North Carolina, and they're doing very well there. Gordon Sellers certainly has what it takes to be a really good wide receiver under Brian Hartline, a top 200-ish guy. Not a commitment that we would freak out about. He's not that kind of guy, but a Phillip Bell style kind of guy that, he's got some polish, he's got some speed, got some, can make some really nice catches, and looks to be a really good prospect. So he will come in. Now, third, it's no surprise that there are a lot of offensive linemen coming in this week because Tyler Bowen's not messing around. This guy has been tasked by Ryan Day to bring in a 5 or 6 man offensive line class, hopefully 6. I'd go for 7. And we start with the dude that we all love here, and that's Micah Champ Smith. He'll be back in town. He's been around a lot in the last year and a half from Vero Beach, Florida. That is freshman linebacker TJ Alford's teammate at Vero Beach. He's a top 100 guy. He is a monster, and he's loved Ohio State for a long time. That didn't change from the Justin Fry to Tyler Bowen coaching change. This is a guy who I right now and for the last 6 months would pick the Buckeyes over the field. That's not changed. He's a really big kid who can play guard or tackle, depending on what he's best suited for when he gets on campus. I have the feeling that'll be guard because I think that Tyler Bowen really likes tackles to be 6'7". He really wants that. And Micah is right around that cutoff right there, like 6'5". He can go either way. I just got the feeling from when we look at Tyler Bowen's offers that he wants a tackle like him, 6'7". And I think he's going to get it. So Micah Smith comes to town. Then we got our man who is the legit 6'8", and that's Sam Greer, tackle out of Hoban up here in my neck of the woods. He's a legit 6'8". I've stood next to him. Kid's a monster. Recruitment going really well for the Buckeyes. He is, not only had a relationship with Justin Fry, but really wanted to develop one with Ryan Day, which he has, and he had before Fry left. And this transition from Fry to Bowen has done nothing to negatively affect that relationship. So Sam, just like Micah Smith, for the longest, I Buckeyes over the field for that one. I still feel the same way about that. Max Riley, also going to be in town on Monday with those two guys. And how good is that we've got the first Buckeye offensive line commit that is going to be with his in-state buddy Sam Greer and Micah right after Max committed. So a really good situation they got going on there. They also bring in another offensive lineman from IMG named Brett Kolajay. And buddy, this is a guy that Fry offered. And then he wasn't really recruiting him, but he had offered him a long time ago. There wasn't much going on. Tyler Bowen picked that up and ran with it. And I really like the look of this guy's film. We're talking about a sick, nasty kid who really understands angles, really got a feel for the game, really appears to love football and love the action. And I checked him out on some of his Instagram vids. We're talking about a 405-pound front squat, which is, this kid's the real deal, man. He is the real deal, top 300 overall kid. And I'm not sure where he's originally from. IMG, it'll say they're from Florida. They're not from Florida. They're from somewhere else, and they go to IMG, with, if you're not familiar, is like a boarding school that focuses on all athletic sports, and they got the best of the best trainers. And if you're a football player, you get selected to go down there, and I just spilled my Diet Pepsi, get selected to go down there and be part of the program. We've got Will Conroy down there. Will Conroy from St. Ignatius, who is one of these other Ohio linemen, and he's going to be a center in college. He's committed to Oklahoma. And he recently went down there. He's been down there for a couple of months now. And I asked him, all right, what are your thoughts now that you've been there a month or so? And he told me it's like an athletic prison, and I love it. So getting the best of the best training, then working out, then playing a national schedule. They go play the best of the best. And that's where Brett Koleje has been. And, I don't like the premise of it. I can't stand it. But the kids had some good coaching. That is very evident. And this would be, I'm pretty excited about this one. I really like Brett Koleje. So Sam Greer, Brett Koleje, and Micah Smith all coming, welcomed by Maxwell Riley. Good stuff. Let's move on. We got a couple of DBs coming in. And the first one, everybody's familiar with. If they watch Chuck on Bucks, we've talked about him plenty here. Quincy Porter's teammate at Bergen Catholic. That's Jordan Thomas, a top 150 kid who is one of the very best in New Jersey. And New Jersey, like North Carolina, one of our honey holes, this is another spot that the Bucks have been really pounding, even more so than North Carolina. Jordan Thomas is a great football player, a great student, never got a B in his life on a report card. Great coaching at Bergen Catholic, 4 state championships in a row. And Jordan Thomas, the Buckeyes have been on for a while, and now he's really blown up. He's a national recruit, like so many guys recently in this cycle. Michigan is now in on him heavily, which the Ohio State-Michigan battles around the country now, it used to just be kind of local battles that we would fight with, Midwest battles with Michigan. Now they're in on everybody that we're in on. It's amazing what money can do for you. But this is a kid who also really likes Texas A&M. And remember, his teammate, who Jermaine Kinsler, defensive tackle, we thought was looking like a Buckeye lean, and out of nowhere committed to Texas A&M. So Texas A&M obviously came after him hard with a big offer, and it looks like they're trying to do the same with our man Jordan Thomas to me. But we'll see what happens there. Now, I really like our next visitor, and that is another safety who is a kid out of Texas, and we're going to pull the film up on him. So this is Donovan Webb, and he's going to visit here. He's also going to visit LSU and Oklahoma. He is a top 300 guy. I personally like him more than Jordan Davis, who's a top 150 guy. This is a physical, fast athlete who really lays the wood. I mean, this kid lays the lumber. He's a top 300 guy. I honestly like him more than Jordan Davis, who's a top 150 guy. I think this dude's got it all. And he says, Coach G is awesome, talking about Matt Guerreri, who's recruiting him. He says, right now, I love everything about Ohio State. I can see myself playing in their system and program and developing into a better player. LSU is another program that I'm strongly considering because of its reputation of developing DBs and putting players in the league. I've never been to Michigan, but I've enjoyed building relationships with that staff. So I want to see what some other programs in Texas have to offer too. I believe I'll find the best fit after my visits. Now, we know how good Ohio State does on these visits. I suspect Donovan's going to have an amazing time and be quite impressed, talking a little bit to Caleb Downs, hopefully, watching Jalen McClain. This is a huge selling point here. Jalen McClain, who came in as a 3-star and was able to work his way on the field year one based on merit. So a whole lot to sell if you are a safety right now. And I really like this kid. He's aggressive. He's a really good punt returner. They gave him 19 carries as a running back. He averaged 11 yards a carry. Just an all-around great athlete. And he said that he wanted me to let you know, quote, I'm the only safety that Matt Guerreri is recruiting in Texas. He must know something. So a confident young guy as well. Now, when we talk about safeties, talking about losing Caden Gebhart from Ohio, Caden Gebhart, that wasn't a Braylon Womack or Caden Gebhart deal. That wasn't a Blaine Bradford or Caden Gebhart deal. Those are top 5 safeties. You're going to bring one of those in regardless. This is, Caden Gebhart was the second guy or the third guy. And Donovan Webb, he fits that Caden Gebhart role perfectly. So this doesn't change anything with Matt Guerreri and his standing with Braylon Womack or Blaine Bradford or Simeon Caldwell or any of the other top safeties. This would be in addition to that. Now, day 2 on Wednesday, you start off with quarterback Bo Bentley, who's a quarterback from Salina, Texas. He's excellent. He's a top 10 quarterback. He's the best quarterback still on the board in 2026. 6'1", 200 pounds, which is plenty big enough to be a college quarterback, by the way. That's Julian Sayin size. Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma, all look like very likely destinations for him. I'm not even going to pull the film up unless we see some positive momentum with this visit, which we very well could. Billy Fessler, having done what he just did and maybe talking to him a little more in person, Ryan Day, they could woo him. But as of right now, it doesn't look great for Bo Bentley. I'd certainly love him in the class, but it's just not looking perfect. So we'll pull that up if we get some action after that visit. This one intrigues me here. We got another offensive lineman coming on Wednesday. Aaron Thomas from Arizona. Does not have a Buckeye offer yet. 3-star kid, just the number 44 ranked tackle in the country. But at 6'7", 280 pounds, he's ranked quite low because he's raw. But he's got all the pieces you need. And the reason I think he's raw is because he just started playing tackle last year. He was on the defensive side of the ball. So they move him over to offensive line. This kid's dad was a Florida State offensive lineman. Move him over to offensive line, and in year one, he goes from a nobody to a top 50 safety in the country, and he doesn't know anything about offensive line. Now, I think as this continues, this kid's sky's the limit here. Ton of athleticism, obviously got the size. So far, what's encouraging to me, he's got official visits to Washington, Minnesota, Arkansas, Texas A&M. Those offers will become the big dog offers. But my point is here, he's willing to go anywhere in the country from Arizona. If he's going up to Washington and Minnesota and down to Arkansas, this kid will go anywhere. So he's going to go where the best fit is. And I really like the sound of this. And this is a developmental guy with all the pieces and parts you need to make a really good lineman. And in a class where you're going to hopefully take 6 linemen, you're going to need a couple of guys like these. So, like I said, raw, but perfect for this class, providing you get those high-end talents like a Micah Smith, like a Evan Goodwin, like a Sam Greer to pair with Maxwell Riley. Now, linebacker C.J. Sana's teammate Caden Gebhart just committed to Clemson. A little different deal for C.J. Sana, who, look, let's just be honest. Caden Gebhart's position coach at Ohio State would have been Matt Guerrieri. C.J. Sana, it's James flippin' Laurinaitis, and you're a kid from Columbus. There's just a little different pull right there. There just is. I love Matt G., a Northeast Ohioan like myself, but you know what? I don't know that enough people know that. Matt Guerrieri is a Northeast Ohioan. Born and raised in Northeast Ohio, went to college in Northeast Ohio. So let's just make sure we keep that out there, keep spreading that word. Matt Guerrieri is a Buckeye, baby. Now, C.J. Sana is, I think, a slam dunk for this class. He's 6'4", he's fast, and I think this is a bigger commitment than most. I really like him. I got a comment on my Twitter timeline the other day that said, I like my linebackers. I like my linebackers black. I'm good on the white linebackers. Remember the Alabama national championship game and Tommy Eichenberg. I think this fella is going to be disappointed in this class because I think it's going to be Storm Miller, Sincere Johnson, and C.J. Sana, and that's 2 whites, so he ain't going to be happy. The good news for him, C.J. Sana and Storm Miller, considerably faster than Tuff and Tommy, but I like him a lot. All right, back to the big dogs. Man, do I like this one. A top 10 edge rusher named Luke Waffle out of the Hun School in Princeton. Luke Waffle, and this means a lot to me, guys, to be able to get that jersey, that Buckeye jersey that says Waffle on the back would be so amazing to me. If you know, you know. But this kid's brother went to Michigan, then transferred to Penn State. And when we talk about this high school, the Hun School of Princeton, this is one of those schools that wears the Buckeye uniforms, which is awesome. I always love that. Let me pull up a picture for you of the Hun School of Princeton with him in his uniform. And I think the last Buckeye that we got to sign that wore a version of an Ohio State uniform in high school was Peyton Pierce out of Lovejoy in Texas. And the last one we were recruiting most recently was Malik Autry out of Opelika, Alabama. And they had the Buckeye uniforms and the block O for Opelika. But Luke Waffle, this kid's ridiculous. We're talking about a Jack Sawyer type athlete in high school, killing him on the basketball court. Obviously, he's a gym rat, and it's in the genes. Big brother's a Michigan Penn State kid. This is a big time one. Top 10 edge rusher in the country. The number one player in New Jersey. Again, with New Jersey, another one of our honey holes. Now, there are a couple of 2027 prospects as well. We're not going to get into those guys because I don't want to it just adds confusion at this point. But a sweet list of visitors for week 1, and we're going to see plenty more come. We'll stay up to date on all of them. Now, I just wanted to ask you guys, so if you enjoy the show, please hit the like button for me if you are enjoying the show. I don't know why they make us do this. They can tell if we like shows. Are we watching? Are we coming back? How long are we watching? Pretty easy to tell if we like a show, but they make us hit the button. It really, really matters. So please do it for me when you're watching. Do it for every creator whose shows you're watching. It's a big boost. On Friday's show, after the show, I got a comment that in the intro, I said I was going to update something, and I never did. So I found that out in the comments after the show. And again, that's the beauty of the comments section. I actually read them, usually respond to them if I have time, but I always read them. So if you're someone who never comments, but you want to maybe weigh in on something, this is the show to do it. I bring those comments up in the show often. I'm going to do it today. I think it really helps the discourse. It helps me formulate my opinions, lets me know what everybody's thinking. And I think it's an excellent way to bring you guys into the show. Also gives me topic ideas. So feel free to comment away. It also corrects any mispronunciations I may have, any mistake I may have. You guys make sure that you set me straight on that. The one yesterday that I said I was going to update, but I did not update was the numbers. There are numbers that are changing that we know for sure. 3, Jermaine Matthews wore number 24 for the first 2 years. He will now be switching to number 7 now that Jordan Hancock is gone. Brandon Ennis, he is switching from number 11 to number 1. And Arvell Reese was wearing number 20. My brother and I discussed this often, how just awkward he looked wearing number 20. He is now going to switch to his high school number at Glenville that Sincere Johnson now wears because he wants to be just like Arvell. That is number 8. Arvell's going to look really hard in number 8. I'm down with it. I might prefer a number 44 on him. I don't know. He might look slow in 44. It's odd how we changed this. I don't know. How long has it been now, guys? 15 years that, the best athletes on the team all wear single digit numbers. It is odd though. It does change your perception of someone's athleticism or how they play. If you grew up in our era where certain positions wore a certain number, you know what I mean? Like it's just, when you see Sonny Styles in number 6, if we were watching Sonny Styles in 1985, Sonny Styles would be wearing number 36. And he might look like a very different player to us in 36. You know what I mean? It's just different. Devin Brown, by the way. Oh, I wanted to tell you this. I saw Devin Brown in his practice jersey at Cal. So he's at Cal. Guess what number he's wearing? It ain't 33. He's wearing 13. So Devin Brown, for all the heat he took, and would you please just change your number? We don't want to see our quarterback in 33 from so many people. He wouldn't do it at Ohio State. He goes out to Cal and he changes it to 13. Apparently he's had enough of listening to that.